Shalom, shalom. It's the brother Mawasar.
Shalom, Mr. Brother Shamo.
All right, and today, as y'all see in the title, we're going into part 2 of the power of the tongue. All right, so we went in 2 weeks ago. We wasn't able to get in last week. We had the new moon, but this week we get into part 2. So I'm gonna let my brother Shemawal kick it off.
God, Shalom. All right, pardon me, man. I just got off the plantation, back to the crib, so gotta do what I gotta do. Work gotta be done regardless. But yeah, we doing the part 2. All praises to the Most High Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shah. Lord willing, brothers and sisters and children staying in the spirit. We seeing a lot of prophecies happening. The Lord destroying the heathens, and we got people getting sick out of the truth. So Lord willing, Yasharala, y'all staying rooted in and keep repenting. All right, we kick it off with Micah chapter 7, verse 2. Because the tongue is powerful, you know. The way you speak, literally what happened in your life as what we was bringing out. But everything you say could be, a plant, a seed that you're planting, and it will literally happen in your life. Just how your thoughts will shape-shift your life, your mouth can do the same thing. Will put you in certain things you thought wouldn't happen, but hey, you spoke it. You allowed this, this anger demon or irritation, right? You allowed this fight, debate. You allow certain spirits to come in your presence because of your speech. You have no type of discernment. So let's get Micah chapter 7, verse 5.
All right, it's Micah chapter 7. Let me see. Turn this page. Micah chapter 7, verse 5. It says, "Trust ye not in a friend, put ye not confidence in a guide. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom."
All right. It says keep the what?
Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom.
Right. Keep the doors of thy mouth. Right. And the wife of thy bosom, obviously this somebody you close to. So that the Lord telling you can't even say everything towards a woman. Right. You can't say everything to your wife. You uttering everything out your mouth because they literally, even if they don't do it, they do it anyway because it's in their nature. They take account of everything you say. Even your enemy takes account of everything you say. He will overthrow you by the things you say. That's why you have to watch your mouth. You get into an argument with your wife or somebody you courting, which is technically your wife, or according to the precepts. But you get into an argument, she says some things that you told her that you should never told her. So you gotta watch your mouth. The Lord, is letting you know through the precepts, man. That tongue is powerful. I mean, how much can we say it? How many precepts do we have to bring out? You know, and how many times do we have to remind ourselves? It's really constantly. How much as the stars is in the firmament, that's how many times we gotta remind ourselves. You can't number. And that's the number of Israel. See that? But read that again.
All right, it's Micah chapter 7, verse 5. "Trust ye not in a friend, put ye not confidence in a guide. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom."
Right? So the Lord said, shut up. The Lord said, shut your mouth, man. You're talking too much. I would say knowing when to speak, knowing when not to speak. Right? I got another precept. Let's get let me see. Right. I'm thinking of some accounts. Right. Let's get Proverbs chapter 8, verse 6. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 6. I don't know if he brought this out, but it may be the spirit of bringing it out again. But the Lord's telling you, watch your mouth, man. You can't say everything to your wife. You really can't say everything towards your brother. A lot of things don't need to be said. That's why the Lord said you really need to have one counselor. You don't want to be talking to 100 different brothers and you're telling all your business. Hey, pray for me, man, this and that. Pray for me, man, this and that. Or man, I got this. You talking to different brothers, you should have one counselor. You know, you may have a couple, you know, that may be trusted, and you can speak certain things, you know, in your life, and they'll, you know, through the Lord using them as a vessel, they can tell you things, you know, in wisdom and in experience, but you still can't say everything, you know. But bring that out.
This Proverbs chapter 8, verse 6. Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips. Salaki. You said something?
No. You keep going.
Okay, come. It says, Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things.
Right? It said the open of my lips shall be right things. And then you gotta think to yourself, everything you say, is it right? I mean, it's kind of you gotta check your spirit if you think everything you say is the right thing to say. You know, even if somebody get offended, you know, somebody get offended over what you say and you think it was the right thing to say. But it may not be. The deliverance was off. Or you didn't use the right word, you know. But that's your discernment. You don't wanna take heed to what everybody's feelings because this world is sensitive. But we just saying, you know, through the spirit of Most High, you know, just watch what you say. Because if you think everything you say is right, you know, hey, you got to be careful. You're not a Ahithophel. You know, Ahithophel, everything he said his counsel was of God, man. That's how, you know, how on point the things he said. And he was confident in the things he said. That to the fact that David had to pray like, hey man, overthrow this man. When he say, make sure his counsel do not go through. And the Lord listened to David and end up having that to happen, right? And that's a scary thing, you know, for you to think that everything you say is right or a joke. It's a joke that you may say, and the Lord might not think that is funny. You know, let me get that Isaiah 55, verse 8, you know, because the Lord's thoughts is not our thoughts, and our thoughts is not his. So you automatically gotta, you know, through the spirit and seeking the Lord's heart as David, you gotta be able to think like the Lord. Not saying you damn thinking you can move objects by just looking at it and nothing supernatural in these wicked movies they be bringing out in all these TV shows, but just to be the image of the Lord, you know. But bring that out.
This is the book Isaiah chapter 55, verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts,
Right,
neither are your ways my ways,
right.
saith
So you
the
gotta,
Lord.
right, saith the Lord, man. So he said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways are my ways. So we have to examine ourselves and think like, dang, today, what did I say? Even if you may say something and you may be like, damn, that ain't the right thing to say. Or man, that's low key kind of off, man. I don't like that. You know, that's a good spirit. You don't want to be like that all the time because then you may not just need to shut up at all times. But you know, to a certain extent, you know, watch what you say. You know, because the Lord may not think it's funny, man. You may say something and you think you said a nice joke. Yeah, everybody laughing. That's the thing too. You got to discern spirits as well, because a spirit can hop on brothers, sisters, and you know you may have a good time and you may say some jokes. Everybody laughing, but what? The Most High might not think it's funny. You know, and that's the scary thing, and you may not find out until what? You get judged. And you don't want to examine yourself and it's too late, you know, because we ain't got that much time left. You really got to watch your speech, actions, your thoughts, you know. And first and foremost, you do got to watch your thoughts too, because the more you think, you're going to say it. So, I mean, it's all in the spirit, because if you think of something so much, you're going to say it. You know, that's who you are, right? So you got Jake down, Jake, you know, he talking to Eve and he say certain things. No, he don't need to be saying nothing to her. Next thing you know, y'all in the room together. Next thing you know, you by in the hotel. You know, you said you was gonna study. You know, you end up studying. You know, speak these things. Oh, I got so and so. Do I got laundry? I got a boom, boom, boom. You know, you end up doing those things. If you speaking of the Lord, you know, most I will and you will do. But it has to be with action first. You know. So let me get Sirach chapter 7, verse 3. All right. The tongue is powerful, man. You can get your mouth can get yourself killed. Your mouth can save you as well. You know, it's all through discernment. It's all through discernment.
You want that?
Gone.
This is Sirach chapter 7, verse 8. Bind not one sin upon another,
Right.
for in one thou shalt not be unpunished. Say not, God will look upon the multitude of my oblations, and when I offer to the Most High, He will.
Sirach 7 and 3.
7 and 3.
Yeah, that's 5, ain't it?
No, that was 7 and 8 on down.
Oh, okay, yeah, 7. Sirach 7, verse 3, verse 3.
It's Sirach chapter 7, verse 3. My son, sow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness, and thou
Right.
shalt not reap them sevenfold.
See that? So you sowing seeds, whatever you sow, that's what you reap. So that's like, damn, whatever you say, you want to provoke a brother, you want to provoke a sister, you know, whatever that may be, you want to provoke, or you saying things in your life, that's what you sowing, and you will reap that. Like I said last video, like, brothers like to call themselves old all the time. I'm old, man. Man, you 30 years old, bro. You keep saying you old. Your 30s, you're gonna be 45. You increasing your age. Then once you turn 40, you gonna feel 60. 60, you gonna feel 100. Because you keep saying you old, and this and that. Like, man, look, cut it out. You damn cursing yourself, right? And it's not like when Jake, man, Jake be madness, man. He be saying you know, you cursing yourself when you say blessed. You saying be less. Nah, this ain't like that. That's off. You think it too deep. And at that point, if you think that's what it is, and you saying that, then you just gonna curse yourself. I mean, we already cursed enough, man. We in captivity. So it's important for you to, you know, watch your words, man. Let me get Proverbs 19:11. Right, then we're gonna get an account through the spirit.
This is Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 11. The discretion of a man deferreth his anger,
Right?
and it is his glory to pass over a transgression.
Right? It said the discretion of a man. Right? How do you pass over a transgression? It's literally by watching your words. That's discernment. Like, that's the only way you will be able to know what to say and right then knowing when to stop speaking. You know, knowing when to let things go. You know, a lot of people don't know how to let things go, and that's due to, you know, what they've been through in the world. Speaking on what people in the truth, brothers in the truth, sisters in the truth, what they've been in the world, and you know, you so used to getting. That's childish. There's nothing but childish things, and we gonna get that out too. You know, all you want is the last word. You got a discretion. You know what? You got it. You know, Jake, with your real, you got it, man. You ain't even got to say you got it, because that's a trick. You know, sometimes you can't. In this world, you can't say a lot of things. You know, you can't even say you got it. You can't even say all right. Sometimes you just gotta be quiet, man. You know, Jake could get triggered by that. All right, bro, you got it. What? You know, start tweaking. You know, start tripping. You know that you gotta have discernment of what spirits you dealing with, and know, like, you know what, I ain't gonna say nothing because he want to fight. You know, he thirsty to do something. You know, I ain't gonna say nothing to this sister because she waiting to do something. She want to bust my windows. You know, whatever that may be. You know, you gotta have discretion to, you know, to pass over a transgression. You know, I mean, you really moving like the other heathens. The heathens want the last word, right? A woman want the last word, a wicked woman, right? Let's get First Corinthians 13. 1 Corinthians 13 and 11, because that's a childish thing. Because kids always want the last word, man. No, you shut up. No, you shut up. You be quiet. You be quiet. You ugly. You ugly. That's what kids do. You know. The next thing you know, they fighting and tussling. And somebody crying, and then the mama come in. What are y'all doing? Sit down. And all that. You know. And you got adults doing that. You know. You ran it out though.
This First Corinthians 13 and 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child.
Right. When I was a child, I spake as a child. You got Israel. You got Israel speaking as little kids, man. Don't have rule over their own spirit. You know, just say anything. You know, the pause spirit. Bring that out again, man. You always saying pause. You always saying something nasty. And then you wonder why, you know, so many sodomites keep coming at you, man. You wonder why so many sodomites want to talk to you. Cause you steady saying nasty stuff, bro. You literally manifesting that in your life. You just saying anything. You know, hey, bro, you remember, man, I ain't finna act it out. But that's what they be doing. So you speak as a child. It said, as a child, I speak as a child. You know, you get into arguments that you don't need to get in. You know, you arguing for dang on 2 hours. Really, it ain't, you got couples arguing for 2 hours, man. You got couples that argue all day because one of them can't just let it go. Can't just stop talking. Just let the other person have it. You know, it's madness. Right, but keep reading.
When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I
Right.
thought as a child.
You thought as a child.
But when I became a man, I put away childish things.
Right. When you become a man, when you become a woman, right, which is, you know, keep the commandments of the Lord, you know, a woman of God, a man of God, you put away those childish things and knowing what certain things to say, knowing when not to speak, when to speak. Can't just say anything and it's true. You know, hey, Yahweh Shai is taking account of everything. The angels jotting down everything. So if you think you could just say anything or think because you're in a certain situation and you right, you know, and think you could just blurt out anything, the Lord gonna get up with you. The Lord gonna get up with all of us. You know, even on the brothers who teaching on the highways and byways, you can't just say anything. You know, you're not talking to just random people, and you magnifying the Lord. What makes you think Yahweh Shai was just saying anything to the people? You know, he just blurting out everything, reading the words of the Lord. You know, that's off, man. Right? I'm gonna get an account real quick. Then Tahawar got it through the Spirit. Right? I don't know if we brought it out. Let's go to Numbers chapter 12. Numbers chapter 12. I wanted something else though, but let's go to that real quick. Numbers chapter 12. Numbers chapter 12, verse 1. Right? It's Numbers chapter 12, verse 1. It reads like it says, and Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. And they said, hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it, right? So really they talking crazy, you know, behind Moses' back. You know, that's another thing you got to watch what you say because you don't know who you're talking to or who you're talking about, you know. Because they literally, that's damn, you slander, you know. What makes you think you had the nerve to even speak up against Moses and the lot that he has, the position that he has? Him speaking to the Lord face to face. And you think he's not gonna find out, you know. Hey, the eyes of the Lord is everywhere, man. The Lord got the holy angels accounting everything. So whatever you say, you're not taking heed that is an angel next to you. And it's gonna happen. We in the flesh, man. You moving in the flesh, you just let your flesh take over, right? Next thing you know, it comes right back around, right? Let's jump down to verse. I'm gonna jump down to verse 4. It says, "And the Lord spake suddenly unto Moses and unto Aaron and unto Miriam, come out ye three unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out, and the Lord came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all my house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? Right? Why were they wasn't afraid to speak against Moses? Why were you afraid? Why wasn't you afraid to speak against your own brother? You shouldn't be slandering or speaking against your own brother in the first place. You know, saying all type of crazy things, and we ain't even gotta, point it out there what brothers be saying or what sisters be saying. And you think that the Lord is not gonna have that to bring that to manifest? Somebody will end up discerning the spirit on you, knowing that you was talking crazy. That all be the Lord, man. Right? So you have to be afraid of who you talking about, who you talking to, and what to say. But if you got something to talk about, you got it.
I got one precept, correct? Cause I gotta hop on the call real fast. Right, so I'm trying. Brothers went to James 3 already. Nah, I'm gonna go to whenever brother get a chance, brother can go to James 3, but I'm gonna go to Sirach chapter 26 real fast, right? Because brother's talking about the power of your speech, right? And the scriptures say, as a man believeth in his heart, so is he, right? The more things you allow to come out of your mouth, right, the more power you give unto whatever it is that you speak about. Right? It's like if you constantly speaking about, the new Bucks trade, you're giving more and more power into the Bucks, right? Or you constantly, every time you get around the brothers, man, you talking about this one sister, you just can't stop thinking this. Oh, losing your mom. Right? You're just giving her more and more power, right? The things that you decide to speak upon, that's why it says that we shall call upon the name of the Lord. Because when we calling upon his name, are we giving our power and our strength into the Most High? It's the book of Sirach, chapter 26, right, and verse 25 and 23, apologies. It says, a wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh a heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Right? You can read First Peter the 3rd chapter. It talks about the strength of a woman's speech. Right? And this ain't just going into a woman. This can be going into anybody, man. Any wicked person can abate the courage. Right? What's that woman named B. Simone? Man, listen. All you gotta do is go and watch any of B. Simone's. She said, man, I wish we had time. I had brothers pull it up. Right? But she said, right, she was going at it with herself to not call her friend back because her friend had told her some good news. Right? She had a new business opportunity. And she was warned with herself to not call her friend back, but she had to call her friend back and tell her, I don't know why I'm not happy for you. I'm happy for you, but I'm not happy that it wasn't with me. Right? And B. Simone done went through like 3 best friends. Right? You got the power to build somebody up or to tear somebody down just with the things that you allow to come out of your mouth. Right? That's why the scriptures say that men's tongues are as swords. Right? Let me get this precept real fast. Revelations 11. Right? Revelations chapter 11 and verse Number 5. And if any man would hurt them, fire proceeded out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. That's how mighty the prophets and the teachers are going to be in these last days. Just by the things that they speak. Right? Elijah called fire down from heaven. Right? Moses had the ground to open up. Right? Just by the things that he spoke. And if they are able to do those supernatural things, right, that can tear apart nations, imagine what your mouth is capable of in order to tear apart somebody's courage, right, or somebody's confidence, their mindset, their positivity, man, right? People get bullied so much, man, they kind of commit, you know what? Get themselves up out of here, man. Check out at a hotel of life, right? All over somebody teasing them at school, man. It's power in your speech, it's power in your tongue. And if you don't have rule over your tongue, self-control and discipline, man, you can damage the world, man, with bad speech. Right? But brothers got it. I gotta hop on the call real fast. Like, shalom, y'all about to the thumb.
Shalom. God.
I just wanted to get this precept in here. This is because the brother brought out a mighty point, and I just wanted to get this verse. I ain't got this in a while in Sirach. This Sirach chapter 28 and verse 17. It says, "The stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaketh the bones." So we was taught in school what? Sticks and stones break my bones, but words don't ever hurt me. That's what they used to tell us. That's not biblical, right? Hey, the Bible say that your words can break bones. Just think about it. Like the brother just brought out, it's people who clock themselves up out of there off of words. Hey, it's people who was told something. It's people who was called something by their parents when they was a child, and they in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and they still think about it. Hey, think about how many people been into it with their brother, their sister, their mama, their cousin, 20, 30 years over something they said when they was some kids. Oh, she said my hair was ugly. I ain't talked to her since we was 16. That's the type of time they be on. But that's the power of your tongue, though, right? A lot of people, and nowadays with social media, I mean, people just talk. You can say anything. I mean, think of how vulgar Eve is now. Where was that at when we was growing up? You know what I'm saying? I don't remember my aunties and them twerking out of cars when I was a kid. I don't remember that. I thought them type of behaviors happen in the club, behind closed. I didn't know we did that in front of kids, but hey, nowadays, what do they do? Right? A lot of the things that they say, a lot of these Sexy Red songs speaking on things that shouldn't be uttered on the video like this. So I'm not going to say it. But y'all know the Sexy Red song I'm talking about. Where she talking about her body parts and what color they are. So when we talk and look at the influence she got, since we talking about the power of the tongue, who don't listen to Sexy Red when it comes to this generation? Right? Even in Milwaukee up here, our biggest rapper, hey, one of Sexy Red said one of his songs is her favorite song. Right? So in Milwaukee, they love Sexy Red because she got love for our biggest Milwaukee rapper. So what do you think the females in Milwaukee is doing every time Sexy Red drop a song? They singing it. I don't know if you know this, but I heard this from a brother before, and I want to go back to that brother and kind of expound on it and get his full explanation. But he was saying, like, a lot of times when you singing, you doing enchantments, right? And it kind of made me think, like, hold on, that makes sense, because if you think about it, these songs, the chorus is repeating over and over, and they repeating some of the most evil stuff. You listen to some Young Boy songs, and I used to love Young Boy, but if you really listen to what you repeating, you like, hold on, bro. So the power of the tongue is real. I'm gonna read this again in Sirach chapter 27 and 28 and verse 17. It says, "The stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaketh the bones." I'm gonna read verse 18. Man, many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue. It say more people than got killed over what they said than by the sword. Think about that. Words then got more people deleted up out of here than a sword, than a gun, than a whatever, than a missile. Just think about it. Hey, when the serpent was talking to Eve, did he put his hands on her or did he say something to her? Just think about that. Did he have to touch Eve? Did he have to say? Did he have to grab Eve, kind of fell on her, or did he just say something to her? Did God really tell you that? And what did that do to her mind? I'm gonna grab that right quick, Agnew. You got it. All right. As a matter of fact, can you grab it for me? Genesis 3. My special guest over here, all in my face, man.
Genesis 3, which one start at 1?
Con.
Right, this Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman,
Wait, he did what?
He said, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman.
Right. So that's the thing, right? And that's it. I'm about to pass it back to you in a second. But the first thing it said that he said something to her. And we all know the story. That's how powerful your tongue. The power of the tongue can get a woman to go against God. Think about that. And her husband. And the power of the tongue can get a woman to convince her husband to go against God. If you really look at the story of Adam and Eve, it shows you the power of the tongue. Right, but you got it. That's all I had.
Yeah, that's a mighty point, man. Yeah, these songs. That's why we really says, watch what you listen to and what you be repeating. And it could be Satan too, because for some reason a song will pop in your head, and Satan wants you to repeat it. But yeah, man, you got Lil Wayne say crazy stuff. NBA Youngboy. Hey, that's why Juice WRLD gone. That's why Tupac gone. That's why Biggie is gone. Yes, it's of the Lord, but they spoke these things into it. They prophesied about their death. I mean, how crazy is that to like prophesy about your death? Speak death in your life. That's madness. And yeah, that's a mighty point because you're doing nothing but enchantment. You causing spells, putting a spell on your life, man. So this Proverbs chapter 13, verse 3, it says, he that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life. See that? He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, man. And you see the rappers that be, yeah, I'm a demon and, I'm dark. And, hey, you saying all these things, you really are a demon. All you're doing is having demons, legions come in your vessel. Oh, that's what you is? You certainly is. And they start doing all type of wicked things to you in your sleep. And once you wake up, that's who you are, man. Right? It says, he that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that opened wide his lips shall have destruction. You had Lil Uzi talking about some, I'm so evil. Can't nobody save me now. That's madness. That's why he's moving the way he moving. You got Lil Wayne talking about some, because he rapped on one of Lil Uzi's songs. This was like Dedication 6, but as brothers know. He damn rap. He said, even though we know hell is not a physical place, it's just nothing but a lower state. But he said he in a long line on the way to hell. I butchered it on purpose. But it's like, come on now. And this is why he is the way he is. This is why they so trapped. This is why their life is nothing but just a circle. They just going in circles, just lost. You just running in circles. This is why you end up killing yourself. People off themselves, and they not really depressed. You got people saying they hungry, they ain't even hungry for real. They just going to eat. Right? It says, he that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, But he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction. And we see those people who have destruction. You know, somebody damn got a gun on them. Hey, you ain't gonna do nothing. Thinking they tough, get popped. Bow. You know, Eve, she provoking a man, saying all this stuff. You doing all these stuff to him. What makes you think he's not gonna do nothing? You casting spirits on him. You putting a raging spirit on him. What makes you think he's not gonna do nothing? You ain't gonna hit me. You ain't gonna do nothing to me. You not like that. You up, BITCH saying all this. I go get my button, this and that. Next thing you know, he black out. And now he's beating you to death. Now you want to call the cops. You provoking him. You know. It says, he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction. Your mouth is wide open. And now it's closed because you keep running your mouth. And now that Jake is now he uncontrollably beating you. Utterly. It's madness. You're not promoting it. But that's what you're doing. You know, that's what you caused for. What you sowed, that's what you're going to reap. You sowed that, hey, now you're going to reap that. And it's going to grow into a beautiful tree because you ain't keep your mouth closed. Right? I'm going to bring out another precept. Just speaking to, I go to Judges chapter 5. Because we do got to watch the music that we repeat, the music that we listen to, and us repeating those words. You know, Jake always want to hear a nice beat. Yeah, you hear a nice beat, and they don't really pay attention to the words. And the word is in the things that they saying is casting a spell on them, putting a spirit on them. And that's why you moving the way you move. Now you liking the song, you singing it, but you don't really understand what the words are saying. You just moving in that spirit. Just like Future. Future, it's crazy because he be talking about drugs and he don't even do half the drugs he talking about. And people listen to them songs and they doing it. And they singing it. Living the life. Because you singing these songs. You know. Like, and then it's crazy. You can say this dang on with any topic or situation, whatever that may be, or what we talking about. Jake will know it to a certain extent. Because he'll be like, yeah, words powerful, man. You know, you gotta watch what you say. But you singing about popping Molly and Percocet, putting Percocet in your blunts. You singing these things and you doing it. You know, you saying you gonna overdose. You singing songs I'm ODing and you ODing. I mean, look what happened to Juice WRLD, man. You know, what happened? He literally rapped about it. He literally was rapping. He was freestyling about it. Yeah, it sound good. You know, and that's what Satan do, man. All the wicked things sound so good. You know, and he was calling for help. Not to be long with it, he was calling for help. Then he had certain songs, you know, he's saying what was gonna happen to him. And it just sounded like a party song. That's what's so manipulative. You know, he's depressed, singing these songs, freestyling these songs, but he making it like a party song to the fact that you want to dance to it. Hey, if that ain't witchcraft, I don't know what else you can call it, man. Right? This Judges chapter 5, verse 1. It says, then sang Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinom, on that day, saying, praise ye the Lord for the avenging of Israel, when the people willingly offered themselves. Deborah and Barak, they were singing, man. They was singing. What they were singing, they was praising the Lord. That's what you really should be singing. You know, I know certain brothers like to, listen to certain songs. It's worldly songs out there that's not too much worldly. It got positivity. You know, I know brothers like to listen to J. Cole or you want to listen to Getting Out the Hood. You know, it's a lot of songs with Jakes. They want to get out the hood. They talking about what the things they used to do and they level up. Boom, boom, boom. Those are songs you want to listen to. Listen to those songs because we trying to get out the hood. We trying to get out the wilderness. You know, to get to the kingdom, man. We ain't finna be dwelling in no ghettos and trenches, and we ain't finna be living that life no more. So I suggest you to rap those songs, repeat those songs, have those and repeat, but really have more repeat of praising the Lord. Giving honor and glory to the Most High. Those are songs that you should be singing, as what Deborah and Barak were singing. As the children of Israel were singing. We're going to sing those songs when we get saved out of Egypt, spiritual Egypt, man. All right, we really going. The elect is going to sing that song. They're going to know that song. We're going to know that song. Right? Let's go to Exodus 15. All right. You singing about the Lord saving you. Hey, how powerful is that? You done doing that. Next thing you know, all hell break loose and you lifted up in a chariot. Because you singing that, you praising the Most High with your words. We already brought out an account of a ride. He didn't give all honor and glory to the Most High. Right? He ended up getting cast down, getting jammed up, man. Killed. This Exodus chapter 15, verse 1. It says, Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord. Right? Listen to songs that's praising the Most High. Singing a song unto the Lord. Who's singing to the Most High, man? And we can name some people that sing to the Most High. The Dino, the Tazadaka, the Kodar, Lahabia, brothers in W, if I'm speaking. You got plenty of other camps that, praise the Most High in their music. Sing those songs. Don't be singing these other songs that's talking about death and sex and, you damn singing Chris Brown, Help Me. And that's a lustful song. And I suggest nobody listen to that. Do not listen to that. I was a kid listening to that. Young. Young listen to that. He talking about some Help Me. Talking we was lust, burning in his lust. I'm singing that song whole time, dealing with that spirit. No clue whatsoever. All right. So you got to sing those songs, man. Let's get Daniel. All right. Matter of fact, no. Let's get Isaiah. Through the spirit. All right. Let's get Isaiah. Let's get another heathen. Boasting. All right. Boasting. Speaking blasphemy. Right. It's Isaiah chapter 10. Right. Let me see what I wanted. Let's see.
What it say?
It's in my face. Right. So I really want to go, Isaiah chapter 10. I'm going to go to verse. Let me see. All right. I'm going to go to verse 10. I mean, not verse 10. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 10. It says, Wherefore it shall come to pass that when the Lord hath performed his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of the stout heart of the king of Assyria and the glory of his high looks. The glory of his high look. He was very proudful, right? Very proudful. A lot of these nations is. All the nations that had us captive and the nations that has us captive now, right? Esau, he speaks very proudful. We see it on a day-to-day basis, right? It says, For he saith, By the strength of my hand I have done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent, right? And I have removed the bounds of the people, and have robbed their treasures, and have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man. So the king of Assyria, he was speaking proudful, saying the strength of his hand, right? Because he's a valiant man. He took all the treasures of the nations. Whole time, the Lord gave him that power, just for the iniquity of Israel. And this how Esau moved, man. Because of us sinning, Esau's is in power right now, And Esau don't even know that only reason why he has this power is because we committed transgressions. We sinned against the Lord, right? It says, and my hand had found as a nest the riches of the people, and as one gathereth eggs that are left, have I gathered all the earth. And there was none that moved the wing or opened the mouth or peep. Right? See that? So he's speaking proudful, man. He got high looks, man. He's feeling himself. He's smelling himself, as the world say, you know. And the Lord is going to get up with him. The Lord said, jump up to verse 12, it said, I will punish the fruit of the stout, right, heart of the king of Assyria. So he's going to get up with, the Lord says he's going to get up with Assyria. And all this is through the Spirit. He's going to get up with Esau because he speaks very powerful. His words, you know, he got to watch his mouth, which he's not going to watch his mouth. These heathens not going to watch their mouth. They will when the Lord appear, right? You know, they might not. Some might not watch their mouth, and they just going to have to get cast down. You're going to Israel, they're not going to watch their mouth. You're going to Israel, they're going to buck against the Lord, believe it or not. They're going to buck against the Lord, and the Lord is going to have to get up with them right then and there. We may see it with our own eyes, right? So we got to watch our mouth, you know. Hey, all right, but you got to. You got anything?
No, you can keep going up.
Okay, come. All right, come. All praise to the Most High. All right, so let's get Proverbs chapter 10. All right, Proverbs chapter 10. You know, hey, we ain't got that much time left. So the amount time you have, try to examine yourself. Watch how you think, say, you know, when to say things. This is very important. It's Proverbs chapter 10, verse 14. It says, wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. See that? It's clearly letting you know that the mouth of the foolish. You a fool if you just utter everything. You a fool if, hey, you don't examine yourself. It says, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. So the Lord is literally letting you know that whatever you speak, you're going to put yourself in destruction. You're going to put, all right, you got it out.
That's so crazy. That's the spirit that you just said there, bro. Because I was literally just thinking about this precept. It's Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 7. Because the brothers was just talking about what this verse is going into. This Proverbs 18 and 6. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. What you got out?
See that? See that? The snare of his soul, man. Snatched his soul right up. Right? Hey, let's get let's get Luke chapter 12. Let's get Luke chapter 12. Right? Hey, you got people, I'm gonna be a billionaire. I'm gonna be a billionaire. I'm gonna be rich. It's gonna happen. But what are you benefiting your spirit? All right. While all hell breaking loose, you want to be rich, you want to have a nice house and things in that manner. But what are you benefiting your spirit? And you being so comfortable, you know, of this world, and you want to be successful. I mean, when all hell break loose, you know, you're gonna get caught. Because that's all you paying your attention, you know, your attention, that's all you focus on. Right? This is Luke chapter 12 and verse 16. Right? It says, and he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do, because I have no room where to bestow my fruits? So he thought within himself, right? And he said, right? He said, see that? And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, that's literally when you speak, you saying things towards your soul. Everything you're saying it to your spirit, man. You saying it to your soul. You know, and the soul can also go to your mind as well. You know. So it says, and I will say to my soul, So thou hast much goods, lay up for many years, take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. Hey, this what people saying in the world. I gotta get this money, man. I gotta get this money. That's what you focus on, right? And that's what you're gonna get. But while you knowing all hell breaking loose, you're gonna get caught unaware because that's what your mind is focused on. It People in the league before they came in the league, I'm gonna make it to the NBA. I'm gonna make it to the NBA, man. You damn in the closet holding a basketball. I'm gonna make it to the NBA, rubbing a basketball. That's madness, man. Right? So he said, eat and drink and be merry. So you don't want to have this spirit saying, I'm gonna eat and drink and be merry. I got plentiful. I got enough for my life. And the Lord said, don't say those things. In Sirach chapter 5. Because you saying that, next thing you know, it's gonna be a new Jacob or a Jacob's trouble. And now you caught out there because you thought that you would live peaceably forever. And this is not your rest. So why even think of being drinking to be merry, saying these things, moving in that spirit? Whatever a brother say, that's what spirit they moving in. And that's why I'm gonna bring it out again. Stop saying these sodomite stuff, all that sodomite stuff, because that's gonna be a spirit you moving in. You keep saying it, that's what spirit you're gonna move in. Just how you say I'm a study, I'm looking for more, I'm gonna pray. You're gonna put forth that action. Obviously, you don't want to be you don't want to be, you don't want to worship the Lord with just your mouth. It have to be with actions. But you say these things, you are moving that spirit, right? So, but I'm gonna read on verse 20. It says, "But God said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided?" So whatever you say, it has to benefit your spirit, man. It really has to benefit you. I mean, even if we can benefit the Lord, because our body is a living sacrifice. If our body is a living sacrifice, that means that every little thing, how we move, what we intake, what we say, has to be pure. If it's not pure, hey man, it got blemishes. It's not acceptable towards the Lord, right? Let's get it's a precept that I wanted, and it escaped my mind. I don't like that. Right, Lord willing to come back to me, right? Let me see what I wanted. Right, Lord willing to come to mind, and it escaped me through the Spirit. That's all in the Most High, you know. Right now, the point I was bringing out, you know, and you were moving that spirit, as the things that you speak, you know, and what I was wanting, right? Let's go to Job. I'm just gonna go to Job. Let's go to 19. Job 19. All right. Well, but Job was getting afflicted. He started uttering things that don't need to be uttered. Right. Because you don't want to afflict yourself. You don't want to put so many you just want to judge yourself, man. Start to afflict yourself. Now you're allowing other spirits to just torment you. Right? This Job chapter 19 and I'll start at verse 5. It says, if indeed you will magnify yourselves against me and plead against me my reproach, know now that God hath overthrown me and have compassed me with his net. So Job is getting afflicted. And he said, hey, the Lord overthrown me. All the things that you're going through, all the affliction and tribulation, the Lord is still with you, man. What makes you think the Lord is not with you? The Lord allowed these things to happen. This is all prophesied for it to happen in your life. It was all predestined. And the Lord not going to give you something that you can't handle. He's not going to give you something that you can't escape. So why say the Lord is against you? Why say the Lord is trying to overthrow you? It says, right? It says, know now that God hath overthrown me and have compassed me with his net. Behold, I cry out of wrong, but I am not heard. I cry aloud, but there is no judgment, right? He hath fenced up my way that I cannot pass, and he hath set darkness in my paths, right? So the Job was uttering things that he don't need to be uttered. He didn't know that the Lord was, you know, afflicting him, but the Lord didn't overthrow you. You don't want to be in tribulation and the Lord is overthrowing you. The Lord is. You don't want to be in tribulation. You think that the Lord is overthrowing you, Shalakia, and you start to utter things, and you don't want to curse the Most High unknowingly, right? You don't want to do these type of things. And Job was saying things he don't need to be said, just him being vexed by Satan and Satan troubling him. The power of the tongue is it get heavy, man. That tongue you will literally kill yourself of what you speak or what you say, right? Let me see, through the spirit. I ain't got too much through the spirit due to the sake of time. I know we ain't got that much time now, but right, let's get Sirach chapter 5. Let's go to verse 12. It says, if thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth. Right? It says, honor and shame is in talk, and the tongue of man is his fall. See that? It says honor and shame is in talk. Because you end up constant shame on yourself by you talking too much, or you saying something that you don't need to say, And if you don't have the knowledge, you don't want to answer, be prideful, think you have the answer when you know you don't. And the Lord will take that account, and you end up breaking a precept down wrong. Hey, you're going to end up being in shame. The tongue of man is his fall, right? The Lord is telling your tongue would be your downfall. You never know. Some people may get sifted out just because of the things they say. People saying they haven't sinned. I ain't sinned since I came in the truth. That's madness, man. Right? Let's get that. Because you saying that you haven't sinned, the Lord gonna get up with you. You a liar. The Lord said, do not lie. How do you lie? Man, look. We all know it's according to the tongue. So if you lying, hey, man, that's going to be your downfall. You may do everything else, but you lie a lot. So lock it. All right? You do everything else, but you lie. Madness. Right? It's 1 John, right? And 1 John chapter 1, verse 8. It says, if we say that we have no sin, we deceive ourselves. You got people deceiving themselves by saying that they don't sin, right? Saying that, I haven't sinned since I came in the truth. That is so powerful to say. That's nothing but that's crooked lips, man. A forward mouth. You got something out?
Nah, I was just gonna say that's just such a horrible lie to tell.
Yeah,
it's
bro.
not even believable. Like, come be for real, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. We ain't out here just clowning. We not supposed to be doing that. And you supposed to feel remorse. You supposed to repent. But we not finna all sit here and just act like the brother going into. Oh, you know what I'm saying? I've been in truth 8 years. I wake up every day, read 20 chapters. I pray 50 times. You know how brothers be. So that's all I want to add. You gotta.
Yeah, come on, man. Like, that's madness. You telling you by you telling another brother he just came in the truth, right? He probably been this thing 3 months, maybe 6 months. He's still figuring things out, And you come in and tell him you only read 3 chapters. Hey, the Lord ain't dealing with that. And you still don't know what this is? The Lord ain't dealing with that, man. By you saying that to him, you putting the spirit on him. He already think he not doing enough just because of his zeal and he want to love the Lord and help. He sincerely want to help the sheep, and edify the sheep and seal the elect. You're going to make him down in the spirit by you telling him that the Lord is not dealing with that because he read 3 chapters a day and you reading 10. Brother, he's not built up yet. He's not gonna retain that much if he's reading 10, brother. You know, that's madness. You saying that you haven't sinned and you man, look, we ain't finna just talk about Israel. Certain things just gotta be said because Israel be saying a lot of things that's gonna get them destroyed, you know. So we're gonna go with what Yahweh Shah say, right? You know, I got, this is the last precept through the spirit, right? So this Matthew chapter 21, verse 16, it says, and said unto him, hearest thou what these say? And Yahweh Shah said unto him, yeah, have ye never read? Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings thou hast perfected praise. So out of the mouth of babes, not out of the mouth of prudent and the wise, they're gonna praise the Most High. What that mean? That mean that you need to be a babe in the spirit, right? Yes, you don't want to be a child, be doing your actions, doing childish things. You speaking whatever you want to, you saying whatever you want to say. You want to have last word, not in that spirit, but have a spirit of a child, like you soaking up a sponge. You just listen. You got little kids out here that don't even say nothing. They just watch. They observe. They just listen. They ask questions just so they don't say nothing crazy, so they can know something. It says, out of the mouth of babes and sucklings, thou hast perfected praise. So out of the mouth of babes and sucklings, they're gonna praise the Most High. That's what it's gonna be in their speech. Is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? Out of the mouth of babes, they're gonna prophesy and edify the sheep and give all that knowledge and wisdom. They the ones that are gonna have all that knowledge and wisdom because they sincere. They're not gonna you know, use the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai of their own glory, to try to get preeminence and stuff like that, and seek, have a name. That's the only reason why you uttering the things of the Lord, but they really doing it to seal the elect, to make their calling and election sure, right? And to actually help, the body, the nation, right? That's really, we ain't gotta do no part 3 or go do a 4-hour video. I'm pretty sure it's clear. We gotta watch our mouths. We need to be praising the Most High more with our speech, having wisdom and, being wise and having discretion on what to say and what to speak and using certain words. We need to fix our vocabulary, man. Israel definitely need to fix their vocabulary because we say MF in every sentence. We say F in every sentence. We need to switch it up. I catch myself. I had a dream that a brother told me I cuss too much. I believe that I ain't cuss too much. But hey, I took that. I'm like, man, I probably do, man. But hey, most I willing you was edified. Watch your tongue in these last days. You don't want to do everything perfect, but it could be one stain on your garment and it's your speech, right? But most I willing you was edified. Lord willing, brothers, continue to watch prophecy. Continue to have will of your spirit. And to stay in the spirit. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Barakathum, and Shalom.
Shalom.
Oh, praise to the Most High, man.